Hello everybody. I just want to make this video because I want to talk about the etiquette of fishing. Now, there's a lot of anglers out there who get into fishing and they don't generally know a lot of the unwritten rules, so to speak, about doing it. And they generally just bother everyone else who's just trying to have a good day fishing. So I just want to briefly touch on it so you know what to do and what not to do when you go fishing. And I think one of the I'd say most annoying things people have to deal with when talking about inexperienced anglers is generally people blasting music on a fishing pier or on the beach while trying to fish next to a ton of other fishermen. Now, on the beach it's more acceptable because it's not just for the fishermen, but when you're doing it on one of those fishing piers, it generally bothers a lot of people. And I know it's not a fishing thing, it's just a common decency thing, but it seems like the world has lost a lot of that common decency. But now, whenever you go out there, sometimes you'll see some kids coming up with a big boom box, just rods everywhere, bait everywhere, and they're more so paying attention to their music and on their phones than they are fishing. And the loud music generally pisses everyone else off. It bothers everyone. So I just say put your headphones in and don't blast music on the pier. I mean, if you're by yourself on the beach, then sure, go for it, but you don't want to bother others. And the second thing about is probably going to be anglers who don't look where they're casting. Now, it happens a lot on a pier. You're overly excited because you saw a big tarpon swimming by you, or there's a lot of fish schooling around, so you just immediately throw your rod in and cast. But you don't want to do that because you could hit someone with your hook. And it happens a lot where you cast and you don't look behind you, and what could happen is someone could be standing nearby and the hook just impales them in the face or somewhere else, and then you might have to go to court over that, and you're hurting someone, so it's generally accepted to look before you cast. Another thing I want to talk about is specifically with kayak fishing is a lot of times people who go kayak fishing, they're just paddling around aimlessly, and you gotta watch out for them because there's also other people out there, kayakers and boaters. So I'd recommend, when you're kayak fishing, look around, make sure you're not bothering anyone. If someone's fishing nearby, then don't run your trolling motor up to them. Don't quickly paddle up to them. Ask them how they're doing. Just stay at a distance. Yell at them if you want to. And generally, don't cast by their boat, because you might hit them with a hook or a weight. Oh, and another thing, if you're on a boat and you're fishing close to a beach, if you see fishermen on the beach, don't go near that area of the beach. They're trying to have a good time, and the only thing that's going to end up happening is you're either going to bother them, scare away the fish, or you're going to run over their lines with your engine, and all that's going to do is tangle up your engine and get them all pissed because now all their line is around your engine and they have to spend money to respool their reels. So you generally don't want to do something like that. Another thing you don't want to do is try to snag fish. Both because it's illegal and because every other fisherman in the world will hate you for it. And the reason it's hated is because a lot of people say it's not real fishing, because you're taking a big hook, a big treble hook typically, and you're just kind of pulling it around, you're disturbing the other fish, you're disturbing the reef, and you're potentially lethally wounding the fish that are swimming around. So if you snag something like an undersized tarpon and you try to release it, you may have poked its eye out, you may have done a lot of damage to its guts, so it's probably going to end up dying, and that's a fish that no one else can go on to catch. So yeah, a lot of fishermen will hate snaggers, and to be honest, I get it. Another thing you don't want to do when you're fishing is, again, cast over someone's line. Now, I know it happens by accident, but if someone's fishing, let's say, next to you, and you try to cast over their line, your lines are going to get tangled up, and then both of you have to spend time trying to untangle it, and no one's having any fun. Another thing you don't want to do is you don't want to spend more time than you have to with a fish. So if you catch something like a tarpon, you want to release it quickly, you generally want to unhook it, take one photo, and then let it go. Because if you spend more time with it, you're more likely to injure it severely, or you're more likely to kill it, or make it weak, and you don't want to do that. And when you release a fish, you want to make sure it really wants to go. So it happens sometimes, and it's rather annoying and upsetting to other fishermen, where you just catch a really big tarpon, you really take the energy out of it, and you just let it go, and it just sinks all the way to the bottom. And it won't get up after that because it's exhausted, it can't move because it lost all of its energy, and it's just going to die sitting on the bottom. So when you're releasing a fish, just make sure it's really trying to swim away from you, like it's trying to pull you with it. That's when you know it's good to go. And I'd say the final thing is not using the adequate equipment. So if you're going tarpon fishing, but you take something like a bass rod, something like this, A, you're not going to land any tarpon, and B, all of this line is going to end up in the water. And when I mean all of it, I truly mean just a long trail of line behind probably either a tarpon you've hooked in the mouth or some rocks, and now all of that line is just going to sit there, entangle other fish, hurt the fish that may have took the bait, and it's just going to kill a lot of fish. So when you're fishing, try not to do stuff like this. Again, it's not, people make mistakes, but try your hardest to minimize it. That way everyone can have fun fishing. Remember, you're not the only person out there fishing, other people are. So just have the common decency and try not to do these things, and you'll have a good time. So anyway, see ya.